Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to learn how to divide a decimal number by a decimal number. And during the process, if it is a continuing decimal number, we'll divide after two digits after decimal. So let's get started. Look at this number. 898 divided 0.96 divided by 0.7. Now look at how many digits after decimal? 2. Here 1. In order to take out the decimal, because if the decimal is there, it will be hard for us to divide. In order to take out the decimal, we have to make it the way that both the divisor and the dividend have equal number of digits after the decimal point. If here it is 2, here is 1. So I am putting a 0 so that here there is 2 digits after decimal. Here also 2 digits in divisor, 2 digits after decimal. Now we can take out the point. Now it becomes 89,896 divided by 70. Let's start dividing them. 7 times 1 is 70. 19. Let's put down 8. 7 times 2 is 14 and the 0 is there. So 140. 8. 5. Next digit is 9. 7 times 8 is 56 and 0 here. 8 minus 6 is 2. Next is 6. 7 times 4 is 28. So 70 into 4 will be 280. It's easy to think about the table and put an extra 0 in the ones place. Let's do the minus 6, 1. Now 16 is the remainder. I'm putting a decimal so that I can borrow a 0 here. 7 times 2 is 14. 0, that is 140. 2, again, because there's a decimal in the quotient part, I can always borrow a 0. Whenever we have a decimal in the quotient part, we always can borrow 1 0. 7 times 2 is 14. Again, we put a 0 here. You can borrow a 0 because the decimal number there. So as you see, it's just continuing decimal number. So we kind of leave this problem here. Let's move on to the next problem. 36.300 divided by 0.6. There are 3 digits after decimal and there's 1 digit after decimal. In order to take out the decimal, the divisor and the dividend should have equal number of digits after decimal. Here is 3, here is 2. So I'm adding 2 zeros so that divisor and the dividend have equal number of digits after decimal. So now there is 3 here, took out. So the division problem become 36,300 divided by 600. 6 times 6 is 36. 0, 0, 3, 0. Bring down a 0 here. But still, C is not going because 300 divided by 600 is not going. But we have no more other digits also, put it down. So as I said in my last video, if we put one digit down, the division should continue. If any reason division cannot continue, we have to put a 0 here and borrow a 0 by putting a decimal. I put a decimal, now I can borrow a 0. Now see, 6 times 5 is 30 and 2 0 will be added. So 60.5 is the answer. Remember, when we put a digit down, is supposed to go, the division is supposed to continue, but for any reason, if it is not continue, before putting a decimal, you have to add a 0 in the quotient. So let's do some other examples. 30.82 divided by 0.3. There are two digits after the decimal, there's one digit after decimal. In order to take out the decimal, I put a 0 here. Now take out the decimal. So the problem becomes 1382 divided by 30. Let's start doing the division. 3 times 4 is 12. 8, 1. Bring down 2. 3 times 6 is 18. 2. Now there's no more digit to drop down. I put a decimal and I borrow a 0, but still it's not going. In order to borrow one more 0, you put a 0 in the quotient and then you can borrow a 0 from this decimal. Since 3 times 6 is 18. As you see, it's a continuing decimal and we already did 2 digit after decimal. I'll leave this problem here and move on to the next problem. 26.41 divided by 0.5. Let's put a 0 here so that both have same number of digits in divisor and the dividend after decimal. 2 digits after decimal, 2 digits after decimal. Let's take it out. So 2641 divided by 50. Let's start. 5 times 5 is 25. Then bring down 1. 5 times 2 is 10. 4, 1. I put in a decimal so that I want 1 0. 5 times 8 is 40. 0, 1. I'm borrowing a 0 because I already put a decimal in the quotient. 5 times 2 is 10. So that's the answer. Let's move on to the last two problems in this video. 3 digits after decimal in divisor, 2 digits after decimal in dividend. In order to take out the decimal, we have to have an equal number of digits after decimal. So I put a 0 here. Now there are 3 digits after decimal in dividend, 3 digits after decimal in divisor, 10 take out. Now it becomes 7120 divided by 5. 5 times 1 is 5, 2, bring down the 1, 5 times 4 is 20, minus 1, 5 times 2, I put it is 10, then last is 0, 5 times 4 is 20. It becomes a whole number 1424. Last problem. 2 digits after decimal in divisor, 1 digit after decimal in dividend. I put a 0 so that we can take out the decimal. Take out it. 5350 divided by 4. 4 times 1 is 4. Let's start dividing. 5 minus 4 is 1. I'm bringing down 3. 4 times 3 is 12. 13 minus 12 is 1. Next, bring down 5. 4 times 3 is 12. 15 minus 12 is 3. Last digit is 0. 4 times 7 is 28. 30 minus 28 is 2. And then I put a decimal so that I can borrow a 0 here. 4 times 5 is 20. So 1337.5 is the answer. Hope this video is useful. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, share, subscribe this channel.